Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy. Nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds. Let in the love.
And listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will find peace in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world. He was among us in every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find, with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts, together we can grow a better place, with love in our soul. And you will find, together we can save it all. And you will find, a place called home, where
talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Oh, when the horns kick in, we're ready.
That's right. Time once again on a Thursday.
Yes, we've had a hell of a news month in the last 30 days.
For sure. All kinds of craziness.
Yeah, well, the music world is definitely feeling like it's going crazy these days. And we got some IT to talk about.
Good stuff.
Yes, let's jump to the cave and see the crazy shit that's going on in this world. So, I don't know if you've caught this. I think anybody that likes to go to guitar channels and bass channels definitely can't ignore this right now, because just like the Fender situation that we've seen over the last couple of months,
right,
this one is making a lot of noise in those communities. And I didn't understand exactly what it was. I just kept seeing like all these different guitarists and channels that we follow start saying Diodario bad, and I just kind of skimmed over things, not realizing what it was all about. But it turns out it's tied to AI, and it's an interesting situation, and it has definitely pissed off a lot of people who have been long time users of these strings. We were talking about it in the Zoom actually last night, and I had a couple of guitarists in there, and they were none of them were familiar with what was going on, but
Right.
they were like, "Oh, I love these strings. I'm not going to stop using these." But after you hear some of this, you might have some thoughts on.
I've known some of the luthiers that I've brought my guitars and basses to, who had complete bulk stock of Diodario, because I was the one string that they used all the time. So they just if somebody didn't have a preference of what they wanted on their guitar, they were getting Diodario. He just had piles of them,
and they probably weren't complaining.
Yeah, not at all. They were what I started with, for sure. My buddy switched to, I think, DR Tights at one point, and I know other people went to, they were using Ernie Ball, Mammoths, and Slinkies and all that kind of thing. Depending
and those are popular too. I mean, thank God that it's not like all these companies. Otherwise, nobody would have any strings.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Also, when it comes to whether it's boycotting companies or whether it's not giving business to companies, I understand there are reasons to move your business elsewhere, and there are important reasons too. I also saw some of the videos that were talking about this, but I didn't actually get into any of them. So it's good that we're checking it out.
Flip me. Where's what? Damn it, restream.
It's right on over there.
Hold on, I'm what?
Mm-hmm.
I told you they changed shit again.
New updates, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to flip myself.
That's usually works.
It used to be easy.
Mirror my video.
It's gone.
They don't like it anymore. One reason
Okay.
for OBS.
I've got something to complain about, Restream. All right. Well, I guess I'll be looking this way until I figure it out. But
How about we just do this?
no. We need to do. I'll find it. But to start, we're going to take a look at the Dario situation. I think anybody out there who plays an electric stringed instrument at least wants to know about it. I'm with you. I don't like the boycotting kind of approach, but
without good reason. You know, that's
people are going to have feelings about it.
Right.
And another thing that just totally blew my mind, and again, these things we're seeing like guitar company scandals, and come to find out that the HandPan is in jeopardy of its existence
I
at the
saw something
moment.
about that too, and I was like, that just sounds odd.
Yes, and this one's really important. It's it's made to inform people about the situation, and it's a bigger situation than you might think. But yeah, the original inventor of the handpan is kind of going the like Fender route with the Stratocaster's approach, and we're talking about an instrument that has really become beloved for a lot of people, and there's a ton of them out there. How this situation's going to unfold like this year, it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
This was Malt Martin Music, and Malt Martin is going to help to deliver it, but you're going to see a lot of handpan advocates in this video. It's a really important one.
Yeah.
And then when I started going down the handpan rabbit hole, you know me, I'm like, is there a MIDI one out there? Because I do have an awesome handpan VST, which sounds incredible.
Nice.
But the thing about playing the handpan, like it's that physical approach that I really want to be able to experience, and it's not the same trying to do it in MIDI. But if there's a MIDI handpan that I can trigger it, really want to look at those options.
How large of a touch pad surface do you have available anywhere? Like for me, for example, I have one of those little drawing pads. So it's not huge, but I mean it's a drawing pad like this. But something like that, if you could like program different zones to be like different sounds, you could get that same physical feeling to it. Also, the things that have the pads, you know, like the ones that the keyboards with the little pads on them. Like I have the Axiom over there, so you know, you do the finger drumming on the pads, you can get a good feel.
And that's what I thought at first. Like if I use the pads to do it, but the appeal to me with the hand, it's that circular chromatic
the layout,
shape, and I want to be able to use the palms of my hands, and like, you know, good hand panning has techniques and things, and if I'm dealing with pads, especially if they're not circular, you kind of lose the appeal of the instrument.
Right. And that's where it comes down to, if it comes down to the lawsuit, and it does come down to, you know, the shape, the exact shape of the instrument, or if it's just the idea of the instrument, because it is, you know, a simplistic instrument in terms of there's not a lot of moving parts in a handpan, right? So it's, you know, it's just the way it was made, the way it's cut, that's what makes the notes the way they are. And, you know, once it's set, it's set. You know, it's not the kind of thing that has to be, you know, I would imagine it's not the kind of thing that has to be tweaked and adjusted all the time.
Yeah, what
it exists.
And it goes to the debate we had when it came to the Fender Strat conversation and shape, especially when you're talking standard shapes for instruments. I mean, yes, somebody can make a modified shaped handpan, but should they have to, just to justify that it's not copying the original? It's a debate.
And it's a question of how the original was protected, and you know when, you know, those things also matter.
Yeah, and here's one that has more of a you know, traditional approach. This looks like the other handpans, except it's electronic. And I just like with the MIDI side, I also wanted to see what options there might be for, you know, nice electric that you can plug in a line signal and possibly have some like sound banks to play around with.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so 65 drums is going to be showing us one of those.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Neotone Mutant electronic handpan. So I was like, okay, I'm not scared of mutants.
It really does look like a little alien spaceship, though.
Although this one might feel like a mutant when you see it. The last two are part of our do it yourself kind of topic tonight. So we're gonna give the handpan a hand, and then we're gonna look at a couple of do it yourselfers who have built some unique things utilizing woodworking and 3D printing. And Matthias Krantz built a transformer ukulele guitar,
Nice.
and the mentality and the engineering behind this and the next one, it's inspiring to see, creative thinking on instrument design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I like the ukulele and the idea that you could transform it into a guitar mid performance.
Yeah. That's the tricky part to me is how do you go from 4 strings to 6? But we will find out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch to see. And for the last one, Dovetail, this one is really impressive for multiple reasons. He used a 3D printer to build this. This isn't just like building a keyboard, it's not like the plastic kind of keyboard approach that he's doing here. When you see the thought put into the key design itself,
Mm-hmm.
he's thinking like a piano and dealing with the hammer striking kind of approach,
Right.
which I was like, wow, I want one of these just to see if that approach accomplishes that feeling like you're sitting at an upright.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been going down a big 3D printing rabbit hole for the last couple of months, and
Yeah.
like something like this would totally justify I can build a piano.
Oh yeah. And that's where it comes down to what do you weight the keys with? Like if in your case, if you wanted to make a weighted keyboard, like you could print the shells of the keys, no problem. If you've tried to print them 3D solid keys, they probably would be way too light,
Yeah.
right? They wouldn't have the action that you would need. You need mass in there, and that's where you could make each one, a container for a bolt, for example, could be enough weight where you just get a cheap bolt or a chunk of metal or whatever in there as weight.
Yeah,
As long as
or
it's in
you
there,
might want
it's like-
to use a special plastic in those cases, and
Right.
but the hammer action
Mhm.
would compensate in some cases for I don't mind plastic
Yeah.
as long as it's weighted. I've had some weighted keyboards that were plastic keys, but they still felt responsive.
That's the whole thing is when you rest the weight of your hand on the keys, that should feel, you should be able to feel that difference. Like the whole
Yeah.
point of the weighted keys is that, it's not just a little plastic, blah, blah, blah. It's like you feel yourself sink into them so that you can play quietly when you need to, and you can play loud when you need to.
Yeah, I want to be able to express.
For sure.
So to start, we're going to express our feelings about this after we watch. But the feelings going on with this situation, definitely there's some people out there who are outraged, and our music channel is full of a bunch of guitarists complaining about this situation right now.
Yeah. So let's
And
see all about the situation with Didario.
this one's coming from at music dash 4 dash miles. We went there for our guitar night a couple months ago.
Yep.
And yeah, he covers all things guitar. And with this one, and he did cover the Fender stuff too. Great coverage there. And with this one, he gives the best explanation I've found for the Diodario situation. There's a ton of other videos out there. They're a little bit longer, a little more in detail, but he covers why there's a scandal right now with these Diodario strings.
Let's check it out.
And I hope they don't kill the company in the process. That would be drastic, but I think the company's going to need to at least own up to what they did.
Man, 2026 really is the year of guitar drama. So if you guys haven't heard, over the past few days, one of the biggest names in the guitar industry when it comes to strings, D'Addario, has found itself at the center of a new online controversy. D'Addario is being accused of using AI-generated tracks to promote their new packs of guitar strings. And what started as a few comments from producers and notable creators online criticizing that demo pretty much cascaded into a full-blown controversy online. Now, before I get into it, I want to make one thing very clear. I don't think AI should ever replace a human. And I've experimented with AI a lot on my channel. I just did a full deep dive into how you can use it when you're producing music. So let's talk about what happened here. A few days ago, D'Addario posted a new video featuring an 8-string guitar, a really heavy gent track promoting their new strings. And almost immediately, musicians, producers, notable content creators were criticizing the track, asking, hey, what prompt did you use for this? Because it sounded extremely AI generated, overcompressed, overproduced, didn't sound like a normal human created it. And at this point, if you're a musician who's experimented with Suno and other AI music building tools, it has a very signature sound when it comes to the final mix it produces for you, especially with cymbals and guitar tone. Now, after receiving those comments, D'Addario responded and said, hey, this is not AI. They stood by the video, and we thought that would be the end of it. But instead, things escalated. They created another video showing a bunch of tracks. I think they're using Logic or some other DAW, proving, hey, this was a human-made track. Here's the proof. Now, there's some great videos of people breaking it down, proving that the two videos do not line up, that there is drift in the tempo, which is something that Suno AI is well known for. So things are looking really fishy for D'Addario. And I completely understand why people are having questions. Because if that video, the behind the scenes performance, was faked to try to save face, the biggest issue I'm having here is transparency. And let me show you what I mean when it comes to generating tracks with Suno, because there's a huge difference between AI-assisted production and AI-generated music. So here I have Suno open, and basically you just go here, click create. I'm gonna go ahead and just go simple, and I'm just gonna type in a simple prompt that I prepped. Modern gent track with low-tuned guitars, aggressive drums, and polished modern mix. Now I'm just gonna put 8-string because I know it was an 8-string in that video that everyone's talking about. And then click create. The wild thing is it takes like 45 seconds to create it for you. And let's just take a listen. Already you can hear the compression in there. That's the crazy thing about Suno, is they scrape music from other artists and they take riffs, inspiration from other artists. And I could tell right there, that's era. So let's dive into it real quick. First thing you want to do is isolate the track you want to hear. So let's go to guitar. So let's solo this out and let's listen to it on its own. Sounds like garbage, right? Now let's listen to the drums. Those sound better. The drums actually sound really good. This sounds better than the track D'Addario posted. But you can hear in the cymbals, there's fragments in there. You know, honestly, that track was impressive. I didn't write those riffs. I didn't play the guitar. I just described an idea and I let AI take care of the writing. And if I uploaded that to YouTube, I would disclose. I used Suno as an AI tool to write this track, and I re-recorded the guitars, or left the guitars there and wanted to share a cool gent track that I generated off of a prompt. That would be honest. And then you can judge it for what it is. Now, imagine if D'Addario had done something similar. Imagine if they said, hey, yeah, we experimented with AI to write this track, but we went through and retracked all of the guitars, and that is the real tone of the new strings that we're promoting. Honestly, I think that would have been a really smart move on their end instead of posting that double down video that they did. But again, to my ears and to many other people's ears, producers, songwriters, people who record guitar very often, it just sounds off. It doesn't sound like a real guitar, and it doesn't sound like a human-generated mix. And here's what really confuses me. This is D'Addario we're talking about. It's one of the biggest names in guitar strings. They have relationships with world-class artists. They have a huge following on Instagram and other social networks. If they wanted a killer 30-second to 1-minute demo demonstrating their 8-string brand new packs that they're selling, they could have had one of their artists record it, or someone on Instagram, or paid someone online. It makes this whole situation feel so unnecessary. And at the end of the day, whether AI was used or not, the conversation is shifting towards trust with larger brands. Once people start questioning your credibility, every future piece of content is going to be put under scrutiny. So the question isn't whether AI is being used in production. The question is, how honest are we going to be about its use? If you have an idea, you write the music, you have the lyrics, or if you have a demo that's almost done, but you just can't write that second verse and you bounce it off AI like a producer, that's a tool. But if AI creates the entire piece from a single prompt and you promote it as your own, that's something completely different. Just tell people what they're listening to. It's not that hard. And that's the thing about musicians. We investigate things. We don't just buy products. We invest in brands. We want to trust those brands. Like we saw with Fender recently, you do not want to lose the trust of the public who support you. And the most important thing moving forward is going to be transparency, because that builds trust. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear yours. Do you think companies should disclose when they're using AI in their marketing? Does it matter to you? Or do you think this whole controversy has just been blown out of proportion? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys want to check out my deep dive into AI music creation and a deeper discussion about the ethics of AI and where you should draw the line as a musician, I'm going to have that video linked below and up here. I'd love for you guys to check that out. And if you're into guitar content and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to Music for Miles, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.
It is the transparency aspect that really comes down to being that important. You really got to make sure you can trust what you're seeing.
Truth in advertising has been a big thing for as long as advertisements have been out there with television and now with the internet. And he's right. Just like Fender has learned about losing your reputation with certain actions here, it kind of doesn't make any sense. His point that they could have easily gotten some great guitarist to happily endorse that, and that's way more effective than
what I would see there is, it almost seems like, rather than going that route, that would take steps, and you would have to then contact the artist, and there'd be, you have to pay the artist something for doing it, and, reciprocal over time and all that. There are financial reasons to do it this way instead of paying an artist to do it, but that doesn't make it right to do it that way necessarily. But it is one of those things that, there can be an argument made for it. But if somebody just, showed up to their boss in the marketing department and said, "Hey boss, look what I did," and they showed up with, this song, it was AI generated, or whether they talk about it being AI generated or not, they come up with this piece and they say, "Yeah, let's do this and share." But they don't realize that people can hear that a lot. And, doubling down though, that's one thing. Again, if they did in fact, use AI to generate it and then say, "No, we didn't use AI and here's the real track," as proof, that's kind of, I don't like that at all. Yes. Transparency is one thing, deliberately, distorting things that way would be a problem to me.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest complaint that you're seeing from it wasn't the initial news of this. It was the way they handled it. And a lot of these guitarists, they're like, "I'm not stupid. You're not fooling me with this explanation." And right now, musicians are listening to everything and judging whether they feel like they're hearing AI or not. Doesn't matter if it actually is AI or not. Right now, you got a lot of people who don't trust anything they're hearing at the moment. So you should go out of your way to prove that it's not that. If the entire guitar community starts pointing a finger at you.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there are actual artists who wrote real, human-made music that got flagged as AI generated just because it either came out too polished or there was some characteristic of the music that they wrote that triggered some flags that made it seem like it was AI generated, but it wasn't 100%. It was like 97% AI generated, but it was enough for them to get flagged and pulled down for whatever. So there can be false false positives on that as well.
Yeah, well, from the looks of this, they really did try to say like the tone of this is coming from our strings, and it really isn't. And that,
Well, that would be the question. Like again, whether because we just saw the video of the guy playing, right? Like if that was what we were listening to, because there's entirely possible that we were listening to him play those real strings, but the whole rest of the track was AI generated. Is where I'm coming from. Like that's what I'm thinking happened there, and they just didn't want to own up to that, so they showed you this whole big production where like they may have used AI to generate each and every one of those tracks, but they put them all into a project as a person, a human actually, consolidate or put the thing together.
so and that would be a point of contention there. If the guitar is actually using the strings that they claim, then yes, it's not false advertisement. But
Then if they're saying, but the track was not generated by AI and it was, that's a problem. Yeah. So.
yeah. I think they're going to have to, instead of doubling down, like Michael says, transparency in this kind of situation with companies like this, more important than ever to be willing to be as transparent as possible, because it's only taken 2 weeks for another big guitar company to now be in this kind of scandal.
Yeah. And very different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough year for guitars.
For sure.
Telling you, it will go down as a year where the guitar as we know it is now changing into the 21st century. And I'll be keeping up, Michael, at music-4-miles. Great reviews and discussion there. Thank you for telling me the deal on that, because I was confused with all the thumbnails are just like, fuck Diodario, and I'm never using these strings again. I couldn't get any information from the videos. I just got pissed off guitarists.
Yeah, exactly. That's the trick.
No. I like my news to actually have the details.
Very much a fan of that.
And this is another one where the details really important. And let's bring up the channels, because this is one of those dual channels. And Malty Martin, and he's got two channels. One for the music at Malt Martin Music, and this is where you can hear some great hand panning and learn how to approach them. And at Malt Martin, this is his home base. Thank God you didn't lose your channel. Oh, and by the way, everyone, I'm back. I am Tony Dumont again. But at Malt Martin and at Malt Martin Music, is going to give us a very important message here on the future of handpans. And this Swedish lawsuit, just like with the Fender one that started in Germany, but now we're talking international repercussions. Even if you don't play one of these instruments, this is important as a musician to see what's going on with some instruments and court cases that are going on out there.
Yeah, I mean, we could be going down a slippery slope here. So, I mean, it's good to pay attention, because all of a sudden it could be like, what do you mean I can't go buy a handpan somewhere? What do you mean they're illegal? Like, what are you talking about? And like, that's, it can blindside you like that.
Well, and imagine if you're one of the companies that's been making them, and just like the guitar companies that were told, you need to destroy your inventory.
Yeah, it's like,
fuck you.
Why don't you come down here and destroy my inventory?
I won't make any more, but I'm not destroying what I've made.
Exactly.
Let's
I'll
see.
be pissed about not making any more either.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's see what the situation is here.
Imagine a world where handpans no longer exist. A day when it becomes illegal to build, sell, or even play a handpan.
A day where the sound that touched so many hearts simply fades away.
That day may come sooner than we think.
Right now, the HandPan is under serious legal attack in the court of Bern in Switzerland.
For years, Panart, the creators of the original hung, have been aggressively pursuing handpan builders and sellers around the world,
filing lawsuits, seizing instruments, freezing bank accounts,
and even involving the police.
Their goal? To claim copyright ownership over the essential functional elements of the handpan.
And to stop its creation and distribution altogether.
If they win, this will set a precedent, allowing them to sue makers individually,
destroy instruments, and shut down handpan businesses entirely.
But the handpan community is standing strong.
Over the past 5 years, a non-profit organization, HandPan Community United, HCU, has been defending this beautiful instrument in court.
Protecting the right to create, share, and play the handpan freely.
Now a crucial decision is approaching.
One that could determine
the very future of the instrument.
To keep fighting, we need your help. Without sufficient funding, we cannot continue this essential legal defense.
So how can you help?
First, you can donate to support the legal costs of this case at hcu.global.
2. Share this message to raise awareness.
Flood the socials with love and music. Tell your friends and family and everyone who loves the handpan too.
3. Sign up to our mailing list to stay tuned and get all news regarding the case.
So let's come together as a global community.
Makers, players and listeners.
To protect the sound that unites us.
Let's ensure the handpan remains free to create, to play and inspire generations to come.
Together, we can save the handpan.
Go to hcu.global and donate now.
Hi everyone, my name is Ralf van den Boer and I am the founder of Ayase Instruments. I'm also an integral part of the HCU, the HandPan Community United. 12 years ago, I started to play and make these incredible instruments. It has been an amazing journey where, together with many other makers all over the world, we developed the HandPan further to where it is today. We were free to create for many years and were in peaceful contact with Panart. They even told me that they were happy I found my own material. Until 5 years ago, when it all changed, and they clearly just wanted us to stop building handpans at all. They seized many instruments in my workshop, and their request to the court is that they are all destroyed by a third party, which is then paid by us. This will be a real nightmare coming true. To prevent this from happening and to be able to build these beautiful instruments for generations to come, we have been defending ourselves in court for the last 5 years. And now we are at a crucial moment where we need more funds to be able to protect ourselves. Please share this message and donate to our campaign. Thank you.
The handpan has done so much for my life. I just love the community and how this one instrument can bring so many people together at festivals, gatherings, concerts.
And the community is thriving. The community is so beautiful and I love seeing everyone come together and play music. It's so nourishing and it's so inspiring that we can all create this music together. And what a jam it is to bring 2 handpans together or more and see the spark of fire that ignites from that. It has changed my life, it has uplifted my life, it has allowed me to express myself on a whole nother level that I hadn't yet experienced.
And for me personally, it also taught me to be in a way deeper contact with my feelings, to express my feelings, but to also feel them and get a better person in general.
It has empowered so many other people to express themselves. I've been holding sound healing ceremonies, taking people through deep, deep musical journeys to connect with themselves, to connect to their hearts through using the handpan and other instruments.
The handpan for me is way more than just an instrument. It's a bridge between people. It's a connector between human beings. It's one of those tools for universal language.
It brings peace and joy to this world. So for so many souls, so many hearts, so many humans to be connected to music, connected to themselves. And it's a door opener in many ways, a door opener to musicality, to the hearts, to the souls, to the connection.
This instrument is so much more than just an instrument. It's the basis for friendships and encounters. I have met the father of my beautiful son in a handpan festival, and I cannot even imagine that in the future those festivals won't be allowed anymore.
The handpan means family. It literally means the closest people I've got in my life. Without the handpan and the events evolving around handpans, I might have never met my wife, who I met at Hangout UK. My daughters might never have been born. And some of the people I call the closest friends I know, I've met through this instrument, through the community that evolved around this instrument in the last 2 decades. So I'm eternally grateful for the development of the Hang and for the further development of handpans and for all the people involved in this. I couldn't imagine my life without it. It's such a big integral part. And without it, my life would be definitely at a big loss.
I am in awe of this instrument, and it has just enriched my life to levels I can't even express. It is such a beautiful gift to my life. I'm so deeply grateful to Ayasa Instruments, Zephyr Handpans, Satya Sound Sculptures, all the makers out there doing the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creations. And yeah, may the handpan live on. Much love.
Don't take the handpan away from us. It means so much for so many people, and it means the world to me. So let's do this.
Oh, let's do this. Save. Look at that community. I would love to go to one of those like jams where you've got. It reminds me of like drum circles at the Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Whether it's the Dead, whether it's Fish, whether it's just a drum circle that's just happening because there's people with drums that can come to a place. Yeah.
And it's a way of relaxing and communicating at a musical level that, man, I would totally go to one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring them to Maine.
Yeah. It's a little bit out of the way for some people, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some hand panners here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to be one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sit out in the field.
Yep. At Malt Martin Music, very important message there. Thank you. We are sharing it. I'm behind you guys. This is an instrument that better not disappear. It's very therapeutic.
Exactly. It also, it kind of reminds me, the sound a little bit reminds me of a kalimba also as another kind of an instrument where you're just, getting very certain tones, very specific tones. And it's got that sound that you recognize when you hear it.
And it's so naturally orientated that it's not as complicated as these damn keys.
Exactly. I don't know what the notes are, but I mean, my guess would be you've got a root, you've got an octave, you've either got the 7 diatonic tones, or you've got all 12 chromatic notes, and you're working your way around there. My guess is that it's diatonic, so that you probably have like a C handpan or a D handpan or whatever in terms of what key it's in, or they might always be in the same key. I'm really unsure. I would have to.
I'd think it'd be like the harmonicas, and
that's what I thought.
Yeah, and you notice in some of them, one of the guys was playing a double one where like you could play under and you can play over, and damn, that would be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking that if the under might even just be like kind of like hitting on an acoustic guitar where you go like a thump, like thump, thump.
Yeah,
just the same all the way around, but it's just another a low bass note or something. That's what I would assume there, unless you see the same individual circles on the bottom as well, because then those would probably be additional notes.
Yeah. Well, if you want to hear more inspiration there, at Malt Martin Music and also at Malt Martin, here you get to hear some jams. Definitely going to be going back to listen.
Yeah, and as you mentioned with the drum circles, I mean, it is since it is so many people playing at one time, you're thinking, it's not one person just soloing over everything else. It's kind of everyone is contributing to the sound that everyone is hearing. So you're adding what you're feeling.
Everybody gets into the vibe.
Exactly.
And it's one of those instruments that's easy to have lots of people actually make something that sounds beautiful. It's a lot tougher getting like 20 guitarists to actually play nice with each other.
Especially because guitars go out of tune a lot easier. I'm hoping that handpans don't go out of tune that way, so that they would all probably stay where they are when they were created.
You also get those diva players that just want to go nuts, and I'm sure that there's a few handpanners that are like, I'm gonna triple time this.
The big solo moment.
Yeah, but it probably sounds better on the handpan. And now, for me, I'd really like to get a MIDI one, even just something that's got the circular approach. This doesn't necessarily look like a handpan because it's designed to be triggers, but it does follow the round mentality that with a good handpan plugin, I could easily see myself going this way. And I want to give a shout out to at MIDI_in as well, because Shiela, she's the one who's actually built this device, and she's got a couple of interesting things here in Peacock Media, where she rolls her own instruments, and I love that. All sorts of interesting MIDI devices here. A MIDI kalimba.
I see that.
Which is what caught my eye first. I was like, okay, I want one of those too. But there's the MidiPan that we're going to be looking at, and I really want to check out her offerings more, especially if we do a kalimba night.
One thing about that, the MIDI-Pan, like looking at it just like that, we were talking before about how with MIDI controllers, you can just go into an app and say learn, and then hit a button, and then it knows what you're doing. Imagine using a controller like the HandPan to play like a video game, like you're running around a fighting game. You're working your way around the pan.
I would love to see games actually implement musical instruments more like that. I'd rather run Mario around that world like on an instrument. So this one's coming from at Music Miscellany. Since 2006, this channel's been dedicated to his hobbies, music and otherwise. And damn, you're a trooper. 2006. I didn't start till 2009. Oh yeah, he's got all sorts of different journeys. Yeah, we love these channels. And I needed to get this one in here because I need to know a MIDI option. My instruments, I like to trigger things, and this MidiPan does look like a very interesting approach without taking up a ton of space in the room.
Nice.
Well, howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, you might recognize this. It's the MIDI kalimba. I've done a couple videos about this. It's effectively a reimagining of the kalimba in a digital formatter as a MIDI controller. Well, the lady who created this, Shiela, she also sent me this right here, and this is the MidiPan. And as the name sort of states, it's kind of similar. In fact, it's very, very similar, but it's more in the layout of a handpan or a steel tongue drum. So you can see there are more notes. And the shape is different, but you can see like the IO is the same, the reset button on the bottom and such, the controls on the side, like it's very, very much the same design, just with a different sort of playing surface. Now, while you'd think, hey, it's probably going to play exactly the same, I actually found out that that's not true. It's actually quite different. And I think it's because this one sort of invites you to set it down and play it like this, more like you would a traditional steel tongue drum. You can hold it and do this kind of a thing. But this one, just because the pads are so much closer together, it's kind of natural to hold like this. So they actually feel quite different when you play them. But let me just show you that here real quick. So since this uses the micro USB, or is this mini USB, no, micro, I don't remember, whichever. Let me go ahead and plug it in. We can see it boot up here, and we can see the exact same menus we saw on the MIDI Kalimba. It's currently in the A minor pentatonic scale, set to the velocity, auto, channel 2, etc. What I'd like to do is actually compare this to a real steel tongue drum. So over here, I have my Luna Bell from MidiPan. And also one of the reasons that I'm using this one is because it's the smallest steel tongue drum that I have. So it fits well on the screen, but also it has a built-in pickup. So I can grab a cable here, plug it in, and then we can get a direct signal into the DAW, which will just kind of help with the recording here. So one thing that is different on this over here, the center pad is the lowest note on the drum. And also this note and this note are the same. And that confused me a little bit at first, but I actually made a suggestion to Shiela. I'm like, it might be kind of cool if you could customize this note. You could make it the root like it is now. You could make it the root an octave lower. You could make it the root an octave higher, maybe a fifth an octave lower, or whatever, you know, just have some changes there. That might be a cool feature to add for the future. Over here on this one, so this tongue is actually the A, and this tongue is actually a lower note. So let me just show you a real quick improv on this one. So one thing that you notice that's very different on the steel tongue drum, if you put your finger down and don't really pick it up, you don't get a lot of sound. It's really about that release. You know, when you pick your finger up is when you get the sound. So over here, if I touch the pad and release real quick, I get a really quick note. If I hold the pad, it sustains a little longer. Now that's going to depend on the patch, of course, whether or not it has sustain built into it, but we certainly get like a longer note compared to something like that, whereas we don't get that on the traditional steel tongue drum. Now another difference, of course, this is a MIDI controller, so it doesn't make any actual sounds on its own. So, you know, it's not an acoustic instrument, where this is an acoustic instrument. Yes, I'm using it as an electric instrument here, but I can just as easily play it and get tones out of it, so I can take it out in the woods or something like that and play it. Well, I actually realized you can do the same thing with this. Okay, now to demonstrate what I'm talking about, I have the MidiPan here, and this is my iPad running Alchemy. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the cable so they are connected, and it should power up over here. There we go. And the sounds you're gonna hear are coming from the speakers inside the iPad. It isn't direct audio, but you should get the idea. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I'm planning to do another video later this week where I showcase this setup. Now, of course, you don't have to use this solely as like drum type sounds. You can use it for anything you want. So here I have like a synth pad. And of course, you can change the key, the octave, all of that very easily. So let's go up to a B. Let's come over here to our octave and go down to the third octave. And let's come down here and let's do a Phrygian scale. Okay, one other trick that this thing kind of has up its sleeve, on the scale menu here, you can obviously cycle through a lot of different scales, but if you go all the way to the bottom of the menu, there's one here that says Kit, and that puts it in percussion mode, so then it'll work as a percussion surface. So if you pick a drum kit patch on your DAW, now I am not much of a finger drummer, but if you are, you might this might appeal to you. Let me just try it real quick. Whoops. See, I already lost it. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm not a finger drummer, guys, but you get the picture. Okay, so there you have it. That's kind of a quick little overview of the MIDI-Pan from Peacock Media. You can see the logo down here, and I will put her link to her store and her YouTube channel in the description. And don't forget, there's this one as well. You can get both those there. And she has some other really cool products as well. So if you're into this kind of stuff, it might be a cool website for you to check out. But I really thank Shiela for sending these to me to help collaborate on. I think that's really awesome when these small manufacturers do that and actually try to get opinions on it. And she said, you know, you play actual steel tongue drum like this, so you might be a good one to provide feedback. So, but if you are curious on these, they are available on her website. And again, that link is in the description. Thanks for tuning in today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me.
Oh, my brain just boinged like that.
Very cool. I like it.
Well, yeah, I love it for getting the handpan sound approach, but when you start to see it used in like, you know, pads like that, or with the, I don't know if on the finger drumming side, the circular approach would work as well for me, but I really liked it with the with the synth pads and the possibility of like certain chords, because I see the circle of fifths when I'm looking at it, and depending on the patch that you use, you're playing with a circle of fifths controller.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know, if it's 12 controllers or 12, you know, spots that you're hitting on there, and it's a pentatonic scale, you've got more than 2 octaves to work with there. But also, as a pentatonic scale, you've only got those 5 notes. So they all, no matter what anybody's hitting in the room, if they're all in the same key, they're all going to sound good because it's all the same 5 notes. So they work together very well.
Yeah. As a controller, definitely I'd like to add this to the different MIDI controllers that I have in this room. That one I could see approaching in a different way than these keyboards and these pads. And
that is the key sometimes. It's what it inspires. Like, you know, my buddy would tell a story about a 12-string guitar that he went to a store, tried the 12-string. It inspired him to write a song on the spot, and he bought the guitar, brought it home, and, you know, made the song final, you know, like as he got it home, because the instrument, you know, spoke to him with that song kind of thing.
Yeah. For me, it's like the patches in the keyboard. You know, the keyboard doesn't really change much. Yes, weighted or springy plastic, but it's the sounds that I get that make me want to go and write a song.
Yeah, exactly. And even the Selviano, the piano that I have downstairs, the weighted keyboard, it's only got, I think, 8 or 9 sounds in it. It's like not got a lot of sounds, but it's got, you know, a good piano, it's got an electric piano, it's got a harpsichord, it's got, you know, things like that. It's got organ sound. So I mean, you can get a bunch of different things, but by changing the sound and then just playing around in the same keys, it inspires completely different things because it sounds completely different. So that's where even just a couple different sounds can really get you, you know, you're in a funk on the piano, like switch it over to the organ, and all of a sudden everything sounds different and feels different. So
and thankfully nowadays it does output MIDI. So if you don't like the sounds that it's making, you send a MIDI signal and make something else make the sound. That's the beauty with MIDI.
Exactly.
It's why I chose to become a keyboardist, because I had more flexibility. I didn't have to go buy special strings or get special pickups.
Exactly.
At Music Miscellany, awesome review there. Definitely going to be checking out Shiela's offerings. That kalimba is on my radar.
Nice.
Yeah, and that Shiela, she's got at MIDI_in to show off the different things she builds. I love her MIDI imagination. Peacockmedia.software. That's where you can see some of the things that she's built. And
can't find the instrument you're looking for? Build it.
Yes, and make them MIDI. Even if the people don't use that MIDI, I will.
Indeed.
And this one's coming from not a freshie for us. We've been to 65 drums, on our last drum night. And look, oh man, it covers every kind of. There's a new Alesis drum, electric drum. I almost included that because they've got Zildjian cymbals now.
And that was the game changer. We looked at the fact that the Zildjian going into the electronic cymbals market was like, okay, that is a key.
Smartest move Alesis made there. I mean, I'm sure it's not as cheap, like it's not the entry level ones that are $300-400, but you pay more for those Zildjian cymbals. It might actually be worth the upgrade.
Yeah.
But here at 65 drums, we're going to be looking at the Neotone Mutant electronic handpan. And an electronic handpan in itself is also, especially if you getting out there and playing live and you need to amplify, that's kind of better than having to mic them.
Oh, yeah. And the one that the guy had, the little tiny green one there that had the pickup built in, that's pretty solid too. Acoustic electric.
Yeah. Well, this one feels like an acoustic to me, seeing the wood and stuff, but them pads feel like they're electric.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you would definitely not be getting the appropriate acoustic sounds off of that as you're hitting it.
Yeah.
If you don't have it electrified.
Well, he is a handpan enthusiast and a drum enthusiast all around, and he's going to take this through a run.
Nice. And a lot of it comes down to how bouncy it is, how the feel is, how responsive, how much it feels like a real handpan as opposed to, feeling like a mush or whatever, and how responsive it is to the different, how hard you're hitting it.
Well, and with this one, what I like is it's more size proportionate to the ones that, like, hand drums. I like the idea of being able to use different parts of my hand on the instrument.
Sure.
With the MIDI one, it's more of a pointy thing. But
small target, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like the option to get a small one for right next to the keyboard, and a big one I can go sit in the corner and just go nuts.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Let's see this thing in action. The Neotone Mutant electronic handpan.
Welcome back, my name's Justin. Today I'm doing my first impressions on the Neotone Mutant. This is an electronic handpan, which, believe it or not, is a whole category of electronic drums. Let's start off with who exactly is buying these types of things. The company says that people buy electronic handpans to play live because you get a direct audio output from the right and left outs instead of relying on a magnetic pickup system or a bass that amplifies it for you. Also, this can come in handy when you're recording things. You can record audio and MIDI at the same time. And speaking of MIDI, this allows you to use it as an electronic multipad if you want. You can trigger whatever sounds from whatever plugin you want, or you can rely on the built-in HandPan samples, which are incredibly detailed. And something important to note about HandPans is that you're playing musical notes. It's kind of in the ballpark range of like a xylophone or something, where yes, it's a percussion instrument, but you're playing songs, you're playing notes, and there's a scale. With an electronic handpan, you can change that scale in between songs to fit the song, instead of changing all the songs to fit the scale of the handpan that you're playing. And that's another advantage of this electronic version. But obviously, this is still a very niche instrument. I'm not trying to pretend that everyone should, go out and buy one right now. By the end of this video, or even right now, you'll already know if you're the target audience of this, okay? This is definitely for people who love handpans and want an electronic version for the various benefits that it has. But it's definitely gonna have a small target demographic that really likes it. But first, today's video is brought to you by eDrum Center. If you're shopping for an electronic drum set, or extra cymbals, or even stands, hardware to hold it up, eDrum Center is the place to check out. They're a great drum store based in Tennessee that just focus on electronic drums, so they really know their stuff. They can answer your questions, they sell a ton of brands, and I've got a small discount link to them in the description below. The body, the shell, is really nice looking. I think going with a wooden shell was a nice idea because it immediately lets you know that it's an electronic device, but it brings in the sort of natural vibe of wood to sort of enhance the overall aesthetic of it. Apparently these are handmade in Hungary, and it takes a while. They're only making 250 of them a year, and they're trying to ramp up production. Now the next question is, how does this compare to the overall dimensions of an acoustic handpan? I'm not an expert here, but I was taking a look at the dimensions of other handpans that show up roughly in the ballpark pricing of this, and it looks like Neotone is going to be a little bit less tall because it doesn't need to be. It's a little bit lighter, and it's not quite as large. You're not getting a sacrifice in playability. This didn't feel cramped to me at all, but what it does is give you portability. So that's the shell, but what are the actual zones made of? I asked the company, and they said it was some sort of fabric material. To me, they reminded me of the feeling of felt. It's definitely very soft, and it doesn't have quite the resistance, the drag that a rubber zone would have. It definitely feels premium. I like the material that they went with. And I was asking what kind of sensors that the individual pads use. I was thinking that he would probably say FSR. That's what one of the competitors uses, and generally that's how you can get positional sensing on this kind of form factor. But no, they're using something called spring gauge sensors. So there are 11 pads on this thing. The top 2 are called ding and dome, and they're physically separated from each other. And there's 9 around the edge. On the Mutant version of the Neotone, which is what we're playing here, you can get 2 distinct musical notes within each of those 9 pads. The company calls them tone fields, not zones. And each of the pads has positional sensing. And this allows you to play different sounds if you hit the center, the vertical shoulder, horizontal shoulder, and the space between the center and the shoulder. From what I can tell, you don't get distinct MIDI notes from these areas. You're just getting a single MIDI note per tone field, but the built-in sounds do take advantage of this positional sensing, and so you're getting tons of individually different samples depending on where you're playing. The pads can also sense pressure, you can do open hits, you can do mute hits, and it has overtones as well. The really surprising thing about the device is that you can actually play on the wooden shell too. I think they're called body hits, and there are multiple zones of the wooden shell. The only disclaimers when it comes to the shell, though, is that it's not quite as sensitive as the legit zones for obvious reasons. And also, you can't play precisely at the same time on the shell as you do the legit zones. There has to be a slight, 30 millisecond gap, so you can tap back and forth relatively quickly, but you can't play simultaneous hits on the shell and also one of the zones. So combining all that sensor technology with the fact that they've also recorded roughly 1,000 to 1,500 samples per individual, instrument means that this plays really well and you get a ton of sonic variation. Also, the latency is very low, roughly 5 milliseconds, which is about what a Roland module has, just slightly higher. You're not going to feel this. So now let's talk about the interface. It's basically invisible because there's no buttons or anything. There's just like a tiny little screen that tells you the battery level, the hertz, and like the scale that you're on. To actually do things, there's 2 basic ways. The first is to memorize some shortcuts. So if you press a certain pad for a certain number of seconds, you can start a recording or change the scale. But the more comprehensive way to get all the different settings is to pair this over to your phone or your computer via connecting it to Wi-Fi. So you go to a web portal, there's like a website, and then you could adjust things like, the scales, the notes, the recordings, the trigger settings, all that deeper stuff. If you turn the unit upside down, you can see that there's a headphone jack, unbalanced master right and left outputs, 5-pin MIDI in and out, USB for MIDI, and an expression pedal port. And like I mentioned earlier, this also can run off of battery power, which could come in handy if you just want to play by yourself with some headphones. But if you're going to play live or do recordings, you might as well just plug it into a wall because you have to, plug in audio cables anyway. So now let's talk about pricing and the competitors out there, because Neotone is just one of about 3 companies, 3 competitors that I'm currently aware of that make this kind of device. So this is very expensive. €3,749, and that's for the Mutant version. If you want to buy the baseline model, the Neotone 1, that costs €2,898. Obviously, I'm not putting this in dollars because these are not made to be sold in Sweetwater or Guitar Center. You will have to import them as far as I can tell. So anyway, yeah, they're expensive, but at least they do come with a backpack, so that's something. To give you some context, right now, an acoustic HandPan that's pretty decent, that's pretty nice, will be around €1,500 to €2,000. There are some a little bit more expensive ones that creep closer to $3,000, but in general, like the really decent HandPans, as far as I can tell, they're around €2,000. And the other electronic competitors, they tend to be around €1,500. So Lumen uses a aluminum shell instead of a wood one, and it has a built-in speaker system that can run off of the internal battery. So you can actually play it as a truly standalone instrument without even headphones or connected to a speaker system. That's probably its one big claim to fame. The Lumen HandPan uses rubber pads that have FSR sensors, and each of them are divided into 5 zones. So it can detect up, down, right, left, and then a center zone. They can sense pressure, you can mute them, you can play harmonics, and it also has a really interesting swipe control that allows you to adjust the volume, the scales, and the sound without having to sort of memorize shortcuts. Though the thing is, you have to be careful with it because you can bump it accidentally. So there's some muscle memory involved, at least when I played it. It includes the bag, and the price tag is €1,511. Competitor number 2 is the WavePan. I actually haven't seen or played this one in person, so this is the one option that I can't really give you first-hand experience with. This is made out of metal, laser cut, powder coated, and assembled by hand in Germany. It's got a very clean, minimal look to it. I actually like the aesthetic of this a bit more than Lumen, even though they're both using metal. They say it uses 50 sensors, it can trigger body hits, and the one thing I'm a little bit confused on is whether or not it has positional sensing. Their website just doesn't have a ton of information on this. It has pedal support and a pretty sick looking case. I love the way that looks. And the biggest difference between this option and the other companies is that it doesn't have built-in sounds. This is a MIDI controller. You're going to need a computer to run the sound plugin that they give you, and also you're going to need a DAW to run that plugin. Price tag is €1,450. So you're definitely paying a premium if you decide to go with Neotone. But this doesn't seem to be a problem for the company because they only make 250 of these a year by hand, and they sell out of them all the time. The company says they're on a 5-month waiting list, so even if you wanted to buy one, you'd have to wait around. And then on Talkin, it says that they currently have roughly 12 to 15 week waiting periods before they'll ship one out to you. So obviously there is a demand for this kind of niche instrument. And key word, this is niche. This is for people that probably are already HandPan enthusiasts, that already have really nice, expensive acoustic HandPans, and they want to add this to their collection as an electronic version, as a tool for certain situations. So overall, fantastic product, very niche, not for me, but it does what it does on a very high level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Kick-ass review, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
And I like that he showed, some alternatives, and on the competitor side, this Mutant, I like that wood approach. I think that was a smart move on their part.
Yeah, actually, I like the look of all 3 of them. Like they all had a kind of a cool vibe going on there, and clean, minimalist as far as not a lot of bells and whistles. Like you don't need that stuff on there because it does what it does.
Yeah, that second one had some interesting features. That ability to actually do some like volume and tweaking with that. But like he noticed, you can accidentally, you got to be more precise if you're dealing with that. And I like the idea with the HandPan of not having to worry so much about. I like that the pads can actually sense things the way they do, and the ability to
multiple zones is important for sure, because that's one of the ways that you can turn it into a larger instrument or a more functional instrument by using those different zones. Like with a percussion kit, you have the whistle, the slap, the this, the that. Like each one, you can have a lot more sounds using all those zones.
Yeah. As MIDI is now getting into MIDI 3 and MPC, all these additional MIDI controls, these kinds of things and those additional sensors really are going to take advantage of things. Can you imagine, that MIDI controller that we saw that like reads gestures and distance? incorporating stuff like that with stuff like this, and imagine if you're holding your hand above the HandPan and another triggers adjusting pads.
Sure. And the one that had the incorporation for a foot expression pedal, I thought that was pretty sick too.
Yeah. Even if I'm playing this, it'd be cool if I could do something with my, you know how drummers are. They want to use every appendage they have.
And even get the guitar players involved, the ones who like to, you know, do the little pedal dance, you know, where they go, wow, wow, wow. Get that thing.
Yeah. I need a whammy bar for my hand drum. That was at 65 drums, Kevin. Killer reviews. That's how you do electronic drum reviews, man.
Yep.
I'll be back for every one of these kits, all 2026 kits.
That E-drum place in Tennessee looked pretty cool too.
Yeah, he definitely has some cool rooms he gets to go into. Now we're going to get to the do-it-yourself portion tonight, and Ange is the one that threw this one at me, and I was like, how is this gonna work?
I saw this one come up in
Yeah, Mateus Krantz, we have been here on our guitar nights, and hell of an engineering challenge here. He got his degree from IKEA. Please subscribe. This is an engineering genius. Every one of these. Right? Yeah, well, we've been to the gun piano. I've seen that one, and the gas-powered electric guitar. We also watched that one night. Yes. But this one in here, you can see a little sneak preview of it in that little thumbnail. A ukulele that transforms into a guitar mid-performance.
Mid-performance, that's the key.
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just wondering how the hell you are gonna.
I'll be impressed.
The ukulele, an instrument that is inexpensive, portable, and easy to learn. But it has one big problem. It's a ukulele. It's the only instrument where getting good at it actually makes people respect you less. But today, let's change that. Let's make ukulele cool again by building one that transforms into a guitar. But this will not be easy. So let's start with problem 1. Ukulele neck is short, guitar neck is long. So how do I make this neck magically grow 10 inches? Well, I did some research and I found this instrument, which is called a theorbo. It had already solved this problem by making the neck fold out. So let's try that. But there was a huge problem with this idea. Okay, so in guitar form it's pretty good, but as a ukulele, it's completely unplayable. I mean, there's literally half a guitar neck where you're supposed to hold your hand. So what I needed wasn't a neck that folded. I needed a neck that completely disappeared until I pulled it out. Kinda like this. Such a simple but genius design where each section just slides into the next one. So all I had to do now was to steal it. Well, turns out it wasn't that easy to apply this to a functional guitar neck, because after it slides out, the fretboard also needs to somehow rise up to be in exact level with the previous part. But it wasn't a problem a sleepless night couldn't fix. Let's see if it works in real life. I'm playing this lame ukulele, such a short neck, but then... okay, anyway, attempt 2. Now it's a stopper here, so when I push it out... Wow, that's perfect. This was an engineering marvel. Until I put strings on it. How can it be so bad? It bends like crazy. Anyway, I will go keep myself. Making it extend was one thing, but making it extend so it can handle 80 pounds of string tension was another. And no matter how much I tried, I couldn't find the solution myself. So I reached out to a material scientist, Adam D'Amato.
How's it going? I mean, the big challenge is maintaining tension between both states. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a way we can pull it off.
First, he added a steel core. Then, he redesigned the moving parts, so when the neck was fully extended, they all snapped together and reinforced each other. And the result? Wow! But let's put some strings on it for the real test. Oh my god, it feels almost like a real guitar neck. It doesn't bend at all. Okay, let's try it. I love Adam. Wow. And something else I love is the sponsor of this video, Chime, America's #1 choice for banking. Why? Because it actually helps you save money, and you can get up to a $350 bonus, but more on that later. Building this guitar has been a grind, and just when I thought I was done spending money, I realized that I needed to buy this super expensive robotic guitar tuner. Fortunately, Chime's roundup feature has helped me save up money here and there every time I make a purchase. Like this $259 energy drink. Chime rounded up to $3 and put the leftover into savings. 41 cents doesn't sound like much though, but throughout this project I needed a lot of these. So here it is, partly paid by Chime's roundups. But this is not the only way Chime helps me grow my money. For example, their high yield savings account lets you earn a 3.75% APY, which is 9 times the national average savings rate. And right now Chime is offering up to a $350 bonus to anyone who signs up to a Chime checking account through my link. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get your up to $350 and 3.75% APY with Chime. I finally had a working transforming neck. So let me introduce problem 2, the strings. If I put strings on it in ukulele form, it's stuck like this forever. These strings do not stretch a millimeter. But if I instead put them when it's in guitar form, this will happen. My first idea was to use rubber bands as strings. And it was promising. But then I realized that playing a guitar with rubber bands is almost worse than just playing the ukulele. But then I thought, what if I keep the real strings and instead build something that reels them out and back in? Kind of like a fishing reel. We can pull it out and we can reel it back in. The concept was there, so version 2 of this idea let the guitar do this reeling itself. When it extends, this rope feeds out more string. When it retracts, the rope winds it back again. And the transformation now worked amazingly. Okay. Okay, maybe not amazingly. The tuning was completely random. Every time it changed form, it became something new. It was like guitar tuning roulette. Ah, damn it, completely lost it. And at first, I didn't understand why. Until I realized that this rope must be stretching. Which was a pretty huge issue because the tuning entirely depended on the rope not doing that. My solution? Find a rope that doesn't do that. And there I had it, a rope that didn't stretch. Wow. Let's put it on the guitar. Okay, but that's easy. Let's see what happens. Wow, I think it's working. I was now wielding the power of a rope that doesn't stretch. My God. But it did break. A lot. The entire guitar just exploded. I hate ropes. So I started to think of ways to eliminate ropes from my life and this design. After a lot of thinking, I found a loophole that can simplify this design a lot. If the guitar strings was just long enough, they could actually wind up themselves thanks to these strategically placed rollers. The catch? I needed some ridiculously long guitar strings, like twice as long as normal ones. And the only way to get this was to have them custom made. And 20 days later, they were finally here. So let's put the strings on and pray that this works. Okay, let's do this. I can't believe this works. I had finally solved the impossible string problem. But visually, it was just a neck becoming more neck. So it's time for the big transformation of the body. So the ukulele needs to go from something like this to this. So I started looking into ways to achieve that. I first found this mechanism, which would be perfect if I wanted to make a banjo. But to create a convincing guitar, this body cannot expand symmetrically. Every section had to move a different distance at a different angle. So instead of this being one simple problem, I had 6 annoying ones. But I had to start somewhere, so I started on this section. And my first design looked kind of perfect. But surprise, surprise, in real life it didn't work at all. But second attempt, surprise again, it kept getting stuck. But finally, the third attempt actually was working. It's so satisfying. Oh, 90% of the time. But with this success, I felt confident going into the other sections. But I shouldn't have. Because the more shit I added to the design, the more shitty it worked. What? And eventually I had added so much things that had to move that it couldn't move at all. Come on. You can do it. Evolve. But instead of continuing abusing my ukulele, expecting it would magically start to move, oh shit. I decided to bring in some expert help.
This cannot move outwards because of the hub.
And switch out the plastic parts to metal. It works so well suddenly. And after 2 days of just assembling hundreds of parts, it was time to try version 2.0. Imagine you go to a guitar lesson and they're like, why do you have a ukulele? It's a guitar lesson. And you're like, what do you mean? It really feels like a full-size guitar even. Now, the functional skeleton of the ukulele was completed. But if we just dress it up and expand, it doesn't really look that good. Yet. So I reached out to my designer Shervin, and after a lot of iterations, we came up with a design that will take this transformation to a whole other level. So let's put these plates on, because it's finally time for the official performance. This thing is amazing. And now, when it perfectly fits in my backpack, let's bring this out in public to see if I finally succeeded making the first ever cool ukulele. I instantly started performing on the street. And at first, I don't think people understood why I was playing such a lame instrument. Until... And from that point, I started pulling it out everywhere. This is ukulele. And for the first time in history, I was gaining respect from playing a ukulele. But the ultimate success would be to get this thing on stage in front of a live audience. So I convinced the guitarist of a band to bring this up on his next performance. But when it was time to transform, it got a bit stuck. But eventually, it happened. And there we had it, the first ever ukulele performance that an audience actually enjoyed.
Oh my God, I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Just the entire process, and the iterations and, the failures along the way. I mean, all that is part of the journey, right?
I want to hang with you, Mateus. You are an engineering genius on all levels.
Yeah, a lot of different possibilities for the solutions there, and a lot of different roads that he went down to try to get that solved. Going to aluminum parts, definitely better than the plastic. The 3D prints at the beginning is like, oh, the pressure's not going to hold on that for sure.
Yeah. And this is where good metal work knowledge is as important as the plastic nowadays is easy to deal with if you got the right equipment.
Yeah, for sure.
And having to go with a rope that doesn't stretch.
My first thought there was, we got these metal strings on the thing. Why don't we use a metal wire instead of a rope in the back? I mean, that would have been my first thought. Would be using something metallic at that point.
And I'm sure he might have thought of that, but just you saw what happened with the snapping on the strings.
It have to be 6 times as big as the fattest guitar string, basically, because the fattest guitar string is pulling pressure already, and then you're going to have 6 strings, and granted they're pulling different amounts of pressure, but it's a lot of pressure when you add it all up.
Well, and a cost for something like that might be a lot more expensive than this miracle rope.
Yeah. I do love the fact that he had a concept at the start and he saw it through to completion, even through having to consult multiple experts and completely change direction several times. I mean, he was seeing that project through.
Well, he's definitely consulting some good engineers there. Where he ran into the problems where he had to consult, these were the body shifting.
Mm-hmm.
That's some complex shit.
Yeah. And that first mechanism he found, I mean, that's exactly what he wanted. That was the right mechanism for the right job. It's just it needed to tailor it slightly.
Yeah. He could see it in his head and like, how do I get it from here to there functionally?
And all different angles and different distances they had to travel. So everything had to make itself complex, right?
Yeah. My favorite part was seeing the crowd reaction, especially when he was in the park and like, oh, somebody playing a ukulele. Yeah, you don't tend to get a lot of impact there, but if you do that, every head turns.
Out of nowhere.
Scott, you just missed it. We saw a ukulele transform into a guitar.
And it looked like that right there.
Yeah, like this little one. Mateus, that kicked ass. I love your experiments. Great mind.
Yes, indeed.
Very cool. When you see the design there, that was some serious engineering to convert like that. Why I really like this one is the builder is thinking like a piano, not like a traditional keyboard. And I would love to be able to print myself a piano.
Sure.
This one's coming from Dovetail. And I've been here because I've been going down the 3D printing rabbit hole, and if this works the way that I could see other companies like thinking their key strike mentality a little differently with this approach.
even just looking, for example, at kick drum pedals as an example, like chain drive versus cable drive, like there's all these different ways you can do a kick drum pedal, and they've had a lot of experience doing it. So looking at that mechanism is also, you know, the same idea as the piano stuff. So looking at some of the materials they use and the engineering designs they use for those pedals would also help with this kind of thing.
And considering the beating that kick drum pedals take, plastic's a little trickier there, but here it can work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's a small pedal.
Yeah, tiny little kick drums all up and down the piano.
There's just a bunch of them.
At least 88.
For me, yes.
This is a 3D printed piano that actually plays, and I spent the last 6 months designing, prototyping, and testing it. See, growing up, there was a problem. In real acoustic pianos, each key has over 100 moving parts, so acoustic and electric pianos feel and sound completely different. But for over a decade, I only practiced on electric pianos, and if you're pursuing piano seriously, that's terrible for developing proper technique. So when I found the maker community this year, I asked a simple question. How hard is it to 3D print a piano that rivals a real acoustic one? But to answer that question, we first have to solve a deceptively simple problem. 3D printing a piano key. In a real piano, a key-specific touch and sound allows pianists to express different styles and emotions. But realism means having way too many parts to replicate, and while electric pianos have fewer parts per key to save money, they don't exactly feel the best to play. I needed something in the middle. To solve this, I looked to compliant mechanisms, which move using the flexibility of plastic and need no joints or fasteners. These are extremely common in plastic boxes and lids. Over more than 50 iterations, I used these constantly to solve issues present on cheap pianos. This 4-bar mechanism mimics the movement of a long lever on a real piano while staying compact, and is inspired by similar mechanisms on bike suspensions. When pressed, the key activates this lever with a compliant hinge, mimicking the weight and inertia of real keys when bolts are attached at the end. I also added these other sections to help with realism, like the spring, which creates a tactile bump to simulate the feeling of escapement, which is when these two components slide off each other in a real piano. But as I began to put these keys together, I noticed another problem: the assembly. See, most 3D printers print parts in layers, starting from the bottom, so hanging areas need supports to fight gravity. But if I print these keys together, the floating areas create supports that nearly double the filament and print time. Instead, after isolating each key, I added dovetail joints so different sections can print separately before assembling together. This allows me to customize the key cover without printing unique keys, and attach the weight lever separately so I can print it in a reflective white without needing a multicolored printer. After adding back all the keys, these dovetail connectors maintain alignment between the black and white keys, while extra connectors on the front, back, and bottom finish the assembly. While this brings the total to around 50 parts for a 12-note octave, it halves the filament cost and is still far less than the hundreds in an upright piano. Since piano strings are large and hard to design, I used a hybrid approach, combining semi-realistic keys with electronics. I used these IR sensors to measure each key's location based on the amount of emitted light that's reflected. Because reflectivity changes with color, I printed the hammers in white to create the most sensor response. Then, with filtering and some math to calculate velocity, I can generate MIDI data, which feeds into a synthesizer called FluidSynth to produce music from high-quality samples. Normal pianos only compare when a key passes 2 specific points, but I went for this approach to get more detailed data. The downside is that the sensors require calibration for environmental and manufacturing differences. Next, I needed a circuit board for my electronics, so this is a custom circuit board I designed to operate the piano's 60 sensors. Instead of ordering a board the length of a piano, which would be quite expensive, the board is modular. With these connectors, you can daisy chain the signals and power, with some boards acting as peripherals and one as the central board, complete with a Pico for MIDI conversion and a place to connect USB-C power. Using 2 layers of multiplexers, one at the board level and one at the sensor level, signals from other boards can be routed to the central board with only a few wires. Thanks to this modularity, the Pico can service up to 128 sensor inputs across 8 boards, and you can even solder on these connectors to add a pedal or control knob. Now, all that's left is to assemble the piano. For this build, I printed 60 keys across 5 octaves, costing 800 grams of filament and taking 41 hours to print. Each key needed a weighted hammer and key cover, requiring 660 grams and 22 hours to print, and over 100 bolts and 300 nuts. The main assembly is made of 60 connectors along with additional spacers in the bottom, front, and back, requiring an extra 470 grams and 15 hours. Finally, I just needed to install the circuit boards, install each octave, and put on the front and back covers, and the piano is done. So this is the part of the video where I was supposed to play the piano, but since I just got back from a convention called Open Source, I thought I would share what people played at my exhibit. And probably my favorite clip is of Alan Becker playing my piano.
Oh no. Bro, this key. Okay, whatever.
While most people liked the feeling of the keys better than their electric pianos at home,
that feels pretty good. You got the crunchiness of the 3D print, but it's got the weight is exactly right.
it's pretty obvious from that clip that there are still many issues.
Yeah, it's hard to feel.
Yeah, it's a little hard to play. Yeah.
The reliability of these sensors and keys likely means I need to print in PETG and use Hall effect sensors instead of IR ones. And since this is a first prototype, there are many areas I intend to improve, likely in a future video on this channel. Over the last 7 months, this project has consumed close to 1,000 hours of my time since I've had to learn almost everything from scratch. While the piano is still far from perfect, I'm still immensely grateful. Grateful that I had the opportunity to pursue such an ambitious project, grateful that my work excited so many people at Open Source, and grateful that I now get to share this work with you. Making these videos takes an unfathomable amount of time, so if you'd like to support my journey of learning everything from scratch, be sure to subscribe. But for now, I've got to get to my next project, so...
Oh, they should give you a scholarship for anything you want to do, you smart little genius. We saw some great engineering in those last two.
And again, the iterative approach and seeing like all the different phases that the design goes through and all that. And Open Source, awesome place. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos about that recently. And I'm definitely going to have to start getting into that.
Yeah. They're getting the future generation of geniuses to build smarter, more efficient, using the tools that you have nowadays. These minds we just looked at in these last two videos, it's not just their ability to visualize it, it's to connect the dots, and I need this equipment, and it needs to fit in here, and breaking up the circuit boards there. Smart move.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, one big old board, I mean, that's also a problem. Just shipping, you're not going to break on the way there and all that.
The best thing about the approach he took is he was just as much creative on the design build. Like it's got to do what I want it to do, but he was also cost conscientious and efficient on material, because when you're 3D printing, it's not the printer that ends up being the most expensive thing. It's, oops, I fucked up on that one. There's a $20 mistake. You gotta learn the cost of the material.
Yeah. And again, that's one of those things where combining passions, like, doing your 3D printing, but also maybe you like wood carving or whatever. And you could like, carve wood for the weight and not have to, have that. And then, that would be nice and cheap as far as material goes and all that, and have some good mass to it for the action, and then the plastic for the covering, for example.
Yeah. If you're going to build things like this, being good with wood, being good with metal, and having a great molder of plastic, or in some cases a sculptor, because there's two types of printers out there. There's the ones that feed in raw plastic and shape it, and then there's those that are like, here's a block, now carve out a statue.
Yeah, exactly. Take away everything that isn't part of the statue.
Yeah, those aren't as popular because there's a lot of waste afterwards. But with plastics nowadays, recycling it. Okay, I'm gonna take that waste and I'll put that in the other printer.
Yep, exactly. Making feedstock.
Yeah. We definitely got a 3D printing night coming up, and at DV. TLS for the dovetail design. I loving what you're doing here. You're off to a great start.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. I like those do-it-yourselfers. I can. Weird. I can do it on this screen, but when we're in the Restream, we do need to talk because I need to see Glenn.
The question is, if you go back to the other screen, are you reversed still, or is it, or does it go back to the other way?
No, probably not, because when I do it, it sticks between scenes. I thought of doing that earlier, but I was like, oh no, I'll fuck up while we're playing the video if I try to do that. They're going to need to fix a button.
That's all right. We'll get it. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, well, we got through the episode. I knew going in these new things. I hate new buttons when I'm going in live, and I appreciate the upgrades they're doing, but I don't want to hit the wrong button.
Right. But that's all right.
Yeah. Well, a 3D printing night. Scott's interested in it. I know if they can get it like, in a consumer range, which they are trying. There are like 1,500-ish up printers made by HP and companies you already know, but they're small, and just like with the inkjet printers, you pay out your ass for that ink when it's plastic.
That's the main thing. Like what you were talking about before, when we get to the point where you can take just, scraps from your other projects and feed it into the printer, and feed, so they can just do its own chopping and making of the filament, for example, that would get you to a good place.
Yeah, you got to be using the certain kinds of plastics. It's not like you can just take anything that's plastic and melt it. And, ooh, I got something for the printer. It doesn't work that way.
Plastic covers a lot of ground, as far as there's a lot of types of plastic out there that have a lot of different ingredients, and certain types are good for certain things.
Yeah, not
strength. And
not all of it is actually recyclable when it comes to these things.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we'll get that 3D printing night set up. Been going down that rabbit hole for the last 6 months because the prices have changed and the options have changed, and I do want to see where the price range falls nowadays.
Well, not only that, but when we look at things like what we've seen coming up with AI just in video generation, for example, we could use AI to generate video to then create a character that we can then feed into a 3D model to then print out. So you can use AI to create characters that you can then make.
Yeah.
In the world. So it's like
there's services already out there where you send them a 3D model and they'll print out, and that's probably somebody who does have one of those kick-ass printers, a few of them, and does it on demand per order.
Exactly, and that would be the way to do it. I mean, that's the way to afford a machine like that. Is you get the machine and you put it out on Fiverr or whatever. You figure out a way to get it, get to the community that's looking for the things that you're trying to make.
Yeah, that's what me and Scott were talking about. If it can pay for itself, I don't mind buying it.
Yeah, exactly. And a 3D printer would be the kind of thing that could do that, even if it's just like I was saying before, like silly promotional materials would be a way of whether it could be guitar picks and things like that. That's
I think where it really benefits some the most are these engineering guys, the ones who are like, you know what, I need to build a new part that's never been built. I need to fabricate it and let's see if it works. And let's make some changes. It serves these kinds of users the most.
Yeah, and especially when he was doing the design of those keys and talking about the fact that there's that escapement part where like you can feel when you're pressing down a real piano key, you feel that one change. And when you talk about it, it's like, oh, I always noticed that, but I never really registered it.
I always noticed it on my piano. When I play this, I don't feel that.
Exactly, and that's
and this one tries to feel like it because it's weighted. But I don't have that hammer action, that kind of kickback.
Exactly, and that's what he was trying to replicate. So he was just starting from a clean slate, trying to get that feeling, and you went through several iterations and found something that approximated that feeling, which is great.
He is going to get the attention of some of the keyboard controllers and builder manufacturers out there. He's going to get some attention for that. You go, boy.
Good stuff. Love it.
Yeah. So we'll be back next Thursday. We might have a special interview for tomorrow night. Ange is cooking up all sorts of things, and we've got some really cool new stuff that's going to be coming. Cole is brewing a whole universal idea, and we got some sneak peeks this week on that. This is why you're going to want to check out the patreon.com/Angified, because there's going to be some cool exclusive stuff over there.
Nice. Always a pleasure.
You've gotten a sneak peek at a few too.
Only a little peek.
You're lucky you got big eyes.
Yeah. And also, I don't give out spoilers.
You're not Tom Holland.
Not getting it out of me.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Take care.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and MIDI too. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rap. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking